All right, we're going to go live here and welcome to this is going to be the back end because I want to see if we can start this off with the live because I want to use the analytics for the YouTube channel because since you're gaining so much traction, we're getting so much traction. I got like over 100 organic subscribers, which I'm so happy for. One thing that's so good is I got my partner here, Miss Carrie Pullaro from Worthy as Fuck right here in the channel with Boundaries and Brotherhood that we keep it channel, but we'll just get it going so that we can understand what we're doing today and introduce yourself again and figure out what we're going to be doing on this one. This way we can chop this all up while I get this live content going.
I'm Carrie Pullaro, a relationship coach. I help high-achieving women stop chasing love and start choosing themselves.
Nice. So we had a special thing because Carrie took a class yesterday and she's going to name the topic. It's going to be her show. I'm just going to be the bystander. So we're going to let her take her. Carrie, take it away. Carrie, name the title, what the description, what we're going to be going over, and see how we can get going.
Last night we took a class, my partner and I went and took a class on creating optimal relationships. And man, it was a whole lot. But what I really wanted to talk about was the conversation it sparked going home was we are actually in another relationship course together, doing exercises together. And the other day we had to connect for a few moments and share with each other what it was so important to us in the relationship, what we wanted, what we desired from the other person. His desire to me was safety and support. I've been percolating on that for a week, right? I'm like, how do I do that? Because sometimes I think I'm doing that and I'm like, fail. You know what I mean? I think I'm doing it. It's not working. So on the way home, I felt like it, because we had been through all 3 hours of relationship training, maybe this will be a good time to ask, because I noticed my energy was so decompressed. I was relaxed. I was in an inviting state. I wasn't like just had finished a workout and pumped up, ready to go. I think it's important to recognize those types of things whenever you're going into a conversation. So I was recognizing all these things. And so I asked him, I'm like, the other day you mentioned to me that you desired safety and support. And what does that look like for you? And I shut up and just sat there and allowed him to answer. And the answer he gave me was not what I was expecting at all. I happened to notice his perspective was very different than mine.
Of course, he's a guy.
And let me tell you how different it was. The whole time he's talking, because my perspective is different, my body is like, this is the dumbest shit I ever heard. But it's not dumb, because this is really his perspective, his idea, how he's viewing things. And if I don't understand that and I really believe it's dumb, then the relationship won't exist.
He's got to understand that one too. That's why. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I was just noticing that about myself, where my mind went. And then my mind, I shut it down and I was like, you're just going to listen and absorb everything.
Okay.
And when he was complete, I was like, is there anything else? And then he continued. There was more. I was like, okay, cool. Let him empty it out and share with me like what's really coming up for him, and let me like really sit and hear him. Because it's never the thing that they say it is. It's the story that they've attached to it.
Okay.
And also I'll give you an example. So his example was, whenever I'm cooking for you, he goes, whenever I'm cooking, you come into the kitchen and you expect me to cook for you. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, huh?
Wait, the roles is reversed? Explain that again. Explain that to the viewers and stuff, because I got confused.
Okay, so we are two different people.
About the kitchen?
Yeah, the kitchen. Yeah, we're like, I will meal prep once a week. I don't like to cook.
Okay.
I go when I do my meal prep, I put all my shit in the freezer and I pull it out as I want it. He likes to cook every day. I think that's part of his expression. He enjoys cooking. I don't like to do that shit. I'm not going to do it. So the way I look at it is he's in there cooking. I want to go spend time with him. This is the time that I know is okay, that I can go hang out with him. Otherwise, he's going in his office. I'm not going to talk to him for a few hours.
Okay.
I'll go in the kitchen. In my mind, I'm going in there to spend time with him. He was seeing it as though she's coming in here because she wants me to cook for her.
Oh.
You see what I mean? It was it was weird. I was like, where did that come from? How he was perceiving it as creating like some type of extra work for him. I'm very busy. I get up. I have my routine. When you come into the kitchen and expect me to cook for you, now you're adding extra work for me. Now that prevents me from that time of doing what I need to do, going back to work or whatever it is. And I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. So I listened to him just go. And then I said, hey, have I like ever asked you to cook. I come into the kitchen because I want to
Spend
hang
time.
out with him. Yeah, and he didn't, there was silence, like he didn't really say anything. And I was like, I just want you to be aware that, because the reality was this, I'm coming in there and he's cooking for me and we both eat two totally different things. I'm very healthy. He cooks, like he loves seasoning and stuff. And I
Mm,
don't like to eat his, not that I don't like to eat his food. He's a great cook, but a lot, like
it's
I'm
different.
good. It's different.
Yeah, different.
A lot of times he'll cook for me and I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to eat this. He was very being thoughtful. In my mind, I'm thinking he's being thoughtful. In his mind, he's thinking that I'm expecting it.
Yeah, that's completely two different paths, two different roads. It can blow up into a whole different thing, especially if he's holding resentment back.
I'm like, thank you for sharing this with me, because I didn't know that me just coming into the kitchen was causing all of this. Because
Yeah.
it's never the thing. Like, what's really
What the underlying
going on?
factor? Where is it all based under? But I understand that because we're guys. You mean and that's why you have a different perspective of it also. And that's part of the upbringing of everything. But I'm so glad you noticed that though. And you were able to talk to him and said, just blow up.
Yeah, it was, but that was the last thing I thought that I would hear him say about creating safety and support. Because to me, I'm like, safety and support is something totally different. But I understand where he was coming from, because in his mind, he was thinking that cooking for me is a burden. Because it's extra work.
If you think about it, if you think about it that way, it could be.
Right. It could be. Absolutely.
Yeah, it could be.
It's so, yeah, it was like, now that we have that kind of worked out, where I explained to him, hey, I go in there because I want to spend time with you and chat with you. I don't expect you to cook for me. And half the time when you cook for me, I think you're being thoughtful. Please don't do it. I'm a loving place. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Like, this whole time you're like building a resentment. I think you're being thoughtful. This is just crazy.
But it's interesting because I congratulate you on being open, because before you would have walked out of that shit. You would have stormed out.
Yeah, absolutely.
The growth of it is so unique and unparalleled because of the situation that you're in with Abel. And you care enough about the relationship that it's optimal to be able to talk about those things. And that's what you learned in your class, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. If you really think about it. You know that they're saying men are from Mars and women are from Venus, how we can totally think completely different things. But like you said, the underlying factor, I just had this conversation with Andrea about certain things and how men think and different things, even though she might not think. This is so cool because I get women's point of view. She don't talk to me, but I communicate in a ways where I've changed, where I don't even get mad. I don't get upset. I don't get resentment. I just tell her, like, certain guys might want underlying factors from her, especially because of her job, flying all over the place, this and that, thinking, and she don't understand. And when she has guy friends, and some of them not gay, they might have underlying factors going on. She don't want to accept that. So what else has happened over the week since you took this class? Interested.
Oh. And also, we really dove into attachment theory. We talked
Explain that.
attachment theory and just the different, like, there's of course the secure attachment styles, and then there's anxious attachment and the dismissive avoidant. Now, it's funny because we did this a long time ago, and of course I came up as disorganized attachment, and he told me, oh, well, I came back secure, and I was like, okay.
You guys are challenging.
Like, I totally don't believe you. He's perfect. And so that's the joke. It's really actually funny.
Right. Yeah.
And because I think he judges it, to be honest with you. But we did it last night, and I already know the dynamic, because there's the dismissive avoidant.
Explain it all though.
Against the dismissive avoidant is what likes emotional distance.
Oh,
right?
okay.
It's when they have a partner who wants to connect with them, typically they fear connection, they fear emotional vulnerability, they struggle with intimacy. And so they try to create distance because it threatens their freedom.
Yeah.
In their mind, they believe it threatens their freedom. And so anxious attachment is more about like craving intimacy, but from an insecure and worried place.
That's bad.
Right. Yeah. Not from like not from a confident and stable place, but, oh my God, I have to have your attention. I have to have your approval, like this performance. And then disorganized is a little bit of both. Go back and forth, because it was like not safe.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. Since the show is called Boundaries and Boundaries, what kind of boundaries do you expect from Abel? to have in this type of situation. And the masculinity, the modern man, how it's all changed. We're from an older, different generation. We're a little bit older. But you look at all the aspects of all this women, how they think everything else wants, everything they will change, but they're not willing to put out. How does that all tie in from your perspective?
How does it all tie in as far as, well,
With the arrangements, with the boundaries, with what you just told me, like how can you tie it all in together for the viewers?
I think when you come from respect, period, like you both get to respect each other, like, first and foremost. So for me, what supported me in the beginning was because this is the type of work that I do. I understood that he had some type of attachment style. Now, and so I was very clear about me. And I was clear about him. And so respecting that he has these
Tendencies.
tendencies create safety for him. And it's like a false sense of safety for him.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did the same thing.
But that's his thing. And that's your thing.
Right.
Yeah,
and we play off one
Yeah.
another. So it's
Right.
just recognizing that I didn't understand why he would want to work like 10 hours a day, why he wanted to be in his office 10 hours a day and knock things out. From an efficient perspective,
Yeah.
for myself, because I'm a perfectionist and I'm like all about being efficient, I can understand that. And then we had conversations where he explained to me time was the most valuable asset that he had. And if I can just respect his time and allow for him to do what he needs to do, because if he is not efficient with his time, he doesn't finish the work that he's supposed to finish.
Oh,
And then it snowballs into everything else. He starts to get distracted in other areas of his life and he's all over the place. And then that just doesn't feel
it's not efficient. It's
consistent.
not proficient. It falls apart. It just goes into a snowball effect and then he wants to shut down. See, I already know.
And it has nothing to do with me. And
Mhm.
it has everything to do with him. However, if I'm participating in the taking of the time, then that's when it can become about me. So
Has it, see, that's the thing about having with myself with kids. I could work when I was in the depth of everything. I could work 24 hours 7, but I also had no time for anything else. And then when I came out of prison and I changed, did I ever tell you about the $689,000 I buried and I found out that my uncle took it all and spent it?
oh my God, I want to hear the
Okay, so
sounds fantastic. My God, it's going to be the best story I heard all week.
okay, so just long story short, I did something that was like only meant for the movies. I hit a stash house and I got all the drugs and stuff. Got everything, went on a spiel, and I buried $689,000 at my grandma's house. Okay, where I live, and we still own the house. But through the course of my incarceration, I'm in my head thinking I have a nest egg to come out to. For 600 to almost $750,000, okay, we can do that. I can start my life. I can get into a business. I can do everything else and do things where I can start my life up just like this because I have the knowledge. 3 months before, and then, mind you, in between this time, he gets busted and tries to blame all the guns at the house on me while I'm in a prison camp. Long story, fast forward a couple years, he dies 6 months before I come out. Okay, 6 months, I talk to my mom and this, and she goes, you don't have any more money anymore. I'm like, what do you mean I don't have any money? And I have this and that. And he goes, no, you don't have what? So now I have to make plans. I don't know what's going on. I come back out and I find out he was playing the man for the last 10 plus years. I go back to Hawaii for my dad's funeral, HPD, Honolulu Police Department. I'm not even off the plane. They're coming, what are you doing on this island? They think I'm going to just rampage and just go back to my old self, right? So in that course, can you imagine if you had to do 10 plus years, you got your nest egg and you come out to nothing thinking you have to start over. And all this time you had it planned out, businesses, real estate, all this knowledge, ready to go. But all this time, that's why Andrew said, if you were that person, she probably would have not even got with me because I would have been a different person. So when I say time, you mean when you have a lot of time that you have to get things done and a clog in the wheel just happens to change it all, you got to learn how to pivot. Then I had to do deep inflection of all this stuff that going and have a normal job, have a normal life. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you this. I never tell anybody this, right? when about I remember this, 2006, when I broke my leg from playing softball after hammering some cultural things in prison. I asked the man up above, I need one more chance to make it right. And I guess I took it as part of losing that money was to make it right for the situation that I am now. And that's why I have kids. So it's like everything came back to full circle. But I understand Abel's side because I'm regimented. Then I have kids now and a wife and a whole full-blown family when I'm not used to this type of stuff. But it also reels me in because if I don't have my stuff done, that's why I'm so efficient with other things. Because by the time they're up, my house has to be banging. And I understand that to the certain point. And Andrew respects that part of me, but she hasn't seen the other side of me. So I'm like, how does that relate with you and Abel in the situation that you guys come in now? Because it happens a lot, right? It has to. You guys are in a full-blown relationship. It's not one-sided.
Oh my God. So it's funny. We were talking about that last night, and he's heard so many stories of how I was in the past. And he was like, man, these guys that you dated in the past, they must be fucking saints. Because I can't imagine who you were back then, because I would never have been attracted to that type of person. And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. And I wouldn't have even wanted to be anywhere near you. You know what I mean?
It's so true. But what kind of, reverse that back. What did he meant by he wasn't attracted? Did he not be in that life or he didn't know about it?
I think he was probably very naive to that. He grew up in like Catholic upbringing.
Okay. Yeah.
He went to seminary school. He was actually going to be a priest.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. And then he discovered girls and he was like, I don't want to fucking be here anymore. No. So he just wasn't aware of that type of lifestyle where I had been in that lifestyle since I was like 18 years old.
Okay.
I had been around it for so long. And then I was just like, oh, this is fun. For me back then, it was fun.
It comes with all kind of different stipulations, facts, and stuff like that. But it's great. From both of you get curious from him on your side or vice versa. Were you curious? Was he that curious, but he didn't want to dive full in? But it's a hard to explain the question where it's, did you think that the change Carrie made it possible for him to open that door?
I think he had opened that door a little bit before he met me.
Okay.
And I think what was really cool too was that when he did meet me and we shared, and I shared a lot of things about myself. Because remember, I met in a relationship class with him. And
correct.
He was my buddy. So we were just sharing information. And so the one thing that I'll never forget that was so impactful he said to me is, why are you making your past wrong? Why are you making that part of yourself wrong? There's so much judgment around that part of you. And it was true. I was totally judging myself. And I was judging myself. And it was so nice to be in the energy of someone who didn't judge me for anything that I did.
That is huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
But it's because you guys, I just seen a video like God puts your person in the vicinity of you to seek, and not in a dating app. So like you was in the vicinity and just so happen you guys are, what is it, in a relationship coach, and just so happen he's not even judging you. But at the same time, how do you take it? And what kind of recommendations could you tell other women about this? Since this is what you do.
I think when he said that to me, it didn't land for me that, oh my God, I am really judging myself. And like, I didn't realize the magnitude. Like, I just kept thinking, oh my God, I need to change my life even more. And I was still in this victim,
still in that stage, still in that phase,
this victim thing of,
okay,
oh my God, this is what I created for my life. And I wasn't in that mode of, okay, how do you move forward here? In relationships. Now, in business, that's different. I was like,
completely,
I can do this. But when it came to relationships, I had all of these belief systems that men weren't going to love me because of all the things that I had done in my past. no man would love.
How did you curb that to become the person you are today in case some of the women that are watching, because a lot of women are watch you. I'm telling you right now. 100,000 views in shorts is not chump change.
I had to come to some acceptance of myself.
Oh,
And that was the key, because what I also realized too was, like, when I'm judging other people, like, that's really just me judging myself. Like, I'm judging in them what I really feel about me.
okay.
And so recognizing that I get to have a level of self-acceptance with myself, because if you walk around life, if you think about it, if I'm just walking around life and I'm judging everything around me, I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm
True.
just staying stuck in this loop. And that's not a growth mindset. I'm stuck in this loop. And then I'm wondering, how did I get here and how do I get out? And it really is just about my thinking. So it was me, forgiveness. It was this, okay, you get to forgive yourself. And man, it went even deeper than that. And
Yeah.
then it was about forgiving yourself, forgiving your parents. But even deeper than that part was recognizing my perspective of my parents, of what I really love about them and what did I just not love about them, or like their traits, I guess you could say. They're positive and negative traits. Whenever I viewed they're positive and negative, everything is neutral. But in my mind, I have created this positive and negative thing. And then realizing that's how I view my relationship with God.
Okay,
And
that makes
like,
sense.
yeah, like that was one of the
Were
biggest
you-
revelations.
And let me ask you this deep question. Were you wrong in your perspectives of your parents at some of the things that they've done?
Oh my God. I'm so glad you asked that question, because this came up last night. We were sharing about it. I had this perspective. So Abel was actually sharing I met Carrie's dad. And when I met Carrie's dad, I'm like, oh my God, we're so similar. He's such a great guy. And
What was your face?
he's such a great guy. And I didn't realize how similar that we were. And he said, in early on in our relationship, I met her dad. The way she spoke about her dad, he said, was not okay with me. And so I said to her,
Oh,
and he did. He came to me and said, you get to change the way you speak about your dad, because this is not supportive for our relationship, for me.
for him.
And so he was like, I don't know what you need to do, but you get to work on that. He's not here to coach me. So I did. I went and I had already done a lot of work on my dad, but I did even more work. And to this level of, I was sharing last night, I'm like, man, my dad and I have such a great relationship today. Like, I remember when I dreaded being in the room with him. I just couldn't stand it, because he was going to do or say something to piss me off. And now I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait for him to call me, or when he sends me a text message, or when he comes to visit. That's a totally opposite than what I used to be.
Was it, let me ask, is it because you was in the life? Is it because of the trauma? Was it because of guiltiness, or you knew you was doing something wrong? Or was it because of the perception you had of how he treated you?
It was my perception of how he treated me. And also it was like the perception of how I see him differently today.
And how does it feel?
Oh my God, it feels so good. And it really is, like, when I tell people it, like, the law of assumption is so fucking true. It is. Whatever I assume to be true is exactly what I'm going to create.
Absolutely. How would you fix it? If you was to tell these women, oh, Carrie, rambunctious, retarded, crazy, mad, angry, wild, the old Carrie, because you have other Carries out there in the world right now.
Yeah.
What would you tell them? Because you coach these women and your story matches everything. In fact, how would you tell them? What would be your top 5 deep downs things you would tell them to face either, or dig, or put in the work? Because the viewpoint you have now, it's so, what you would say, refreshing. Like your word is, it's always refreshing, because now it's so different. Did time come into a factor there, or was it you?
It's funny because a lot of people will say, oh, it's time. It's choice. It's choice. And so if I'm still suffering with all of this anger, so for me, what was happening too is I knew what I needed to do. I knew I needed to forget. I got to forgive, right? Like, in order to get to another level, I got to create some forgiveness in my life.
How hard was that?
But I'm fucking pissed. Like, how do you forgive someone when you're pissed? And when I coach women, I'm like, okay, the first things that we get to dive into is yourself, your mom, your dad, and your relationship with God or your higher power or the universe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. Those are the 4 things that we address to begin with, because those 4 things affect your ability to see what's around you. And if you wake up every day and you hate your life and you think your life sucks, or you're in a negative state of mind, it's because of your relationship with those 4 things. And so that is the key. But really, it's about me, honestly, like the relationship with myself, the relationship with God. That is the main.
It's the main one, but you have to actually notice it also. You know what I mean? If you, like I tell, time, they say you have quotes, time will heal. But if you're not ready for the time to heal and you haven't put in the work, your shit will still be the same all the time. Your viewpoints, how you handle the situation, what is looking, you gave 2 of them right there. What would be your number 3 deep thing you would tell old Carrie?
Stop trying to control everything.
Oh, I want to talk about that. Talk about that. Give me some examples of that, of how Carrie controlled everything and had to let go.
Yeah, I think so. For me, controlling everything was a clear indication that I felt my life was out of control. So me trying to control any kind of situation, right? Controlling cleaning my house or controlling doing the laundry. It can be anything. Controlling going to the gym every day, what I'm eating, like being so crazy, fanatically regimented, not
Okay.
from a place of responsibility, but from a place of I
Power.
must maintain control to have power. Correct.
Power.
Yeah.
The
100%.
Yeah, it's the power.
And that is really, for me, like, that's just a sign. Hey, you're exhausted because you're running yourself ragged and you're trying to do all the things. Okay, where do you feel out of control in your life?
How does giving up control make it possible to have that optimal relationship?
It's like surrendering to the process. And let me tell you, man, this is an everyday conscious thing of I get to surrender to the process and not try to control it, because my reality, what I perceive as my reality of what I've created, my perspective of my relationship is really in my life is distorted at times.
Of course.
It's not necessarily an accurate representation. Like, I am not an accurate narrator of my life. It really is depending on where I am energetically, emotionally in my healing process. And so really surrendering that I'm not going to be like, boom, get it right all of a sudden. I'm not going to just change my life immediately. Surrendering to the process of, if I look at life as a journey, if I am like that childlike wonder, I think you and I have talked about this every day, waking up and going, okay, whatever's happening today, how can I continue to look at it with curiosity instead of, oh my God, you fucked up, you failed. You know what I mean? It's such
I
a
know.
final thing.
Absolutely.
That stops me in my tracks. So one opens the door for me, one stops me in my tracks. And so I get to let this piece go.
Because even having children, if I look at my situation now with having children, when I look at their view, their lens and stuff like that, all they want is attention. All they want is attention. Why this? Why that? Can I have this? Do this? Can I get this? Of course you can have it, because I don't want to tell them no. I don't want them getting used to somebody always telling them no. I want them to learn that it's okay to be told no, but at the same time, there's reasons why. For the same reason, I explain to them why is it happening this way, because the curiosity will actually get, and it's get the dynamics of the curiosity. We're looking into a child's lens from their viewpoint, from their window. It's just so innocent, and sometimes you have to go back to that innocent level of when you used to be, so you can grow from that point A to where you are right now. Now, because I would assume you and Abel are both strong-headed. Yes or no?
Oh, 1000%.
Right?
Yeah.
He's got his profession. He's got his regiment. He's got a time thing. I get it. I get him, right? I get you, right? For the viewers out there, but what is the true value that what you guys both get from 2 different points? If you can understand that question, right? What does he get your perception? It's going to be interesting, right?
So he mirrors to me areas of growth that
Nice.
where I get to go. And one thing I also noticed is that
Potentially?
yes, and like he's a mirror of, if I'm judging him in that moment, or if I don't like something, I'm just like, okay, this isn't him. This is something within me, because if this area of me were clear, that behavior wouldn't matter. You know what I
True.
mean? So it's recognizing that it's never about him, and that's a constant practice, because I want to blame you. It's your fault. Stop doing that. It's easier to, absolutely. Instead of going, oh, okay, that didn't feel good, but why didn't it feel good? It's not him. It's me. But also the things that I love about him. So I didn't have such a great relationship with my family when I met him. Family's a big deal for him.
Okay.
And so that was one of the things that I loved about him, but I didn't have, I was like, oh my God, like I love that he is. At first, in the beginning, when we first started dating, I was like, this is the weirdest fucking thing. This can't be healthy that you want to be around your family all the time. In my mind, like I'm thinking these things. Perfect example of my perspective. It isn't necessarily right, and it's not necessarily wrong. It's just my experience.
Yeah.
And traveling with him, meeting his family, seeing how they all interact with one another, and I was just like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. And then he began to create that with my family, and we would go and visit them and spend time with them. And my family like loves him. And I was just like, oh, wow. Now I understand why family is so important.
I was just about to say it. When we're growing up in a life from a young age, from dysfunctionality to toxic to getting on your own to doing things that you think because you're grown, you don't understand the family energy that comes around when you have it right. Same like me with my second daughter's mom. I couldn't understand it. I honestly, like, what the frick? You guys do this? You guys want me to go to this? We're going to sit at the table for this? And then this is how you do it. I'm like, what? You guys are crazy. It's the same exact shit. But at the same time, now that you grow older and you see how friends come and go, people come and go, situations come and go, seasons change. You have Abel, I have my little family. Even if you have family that are just good friends that you call family, not even like blood family, that situation, because sometimes they'll come and go. But at the same time, you see the value in it because and once you, I want to say, it's like when you get married, when I got married. If you asked me I was going to get married and have what I have now, Dave, I would have said, you freaking crazy. But at the same time, I understand the purpose of having purpose with the family, why guys got to go through this, why the perspective have to change. It's the most frustrating, the most rewarding thing at the same time. It's a push and pull and a give and take every single day. But then at the same time, it's never going to last forever. I mean, I can watch my kids go through these phases, and I'm just so fortunate enough to be able to do it right now because I was given this second, third, fourth, fifth chance. How many chances does the man up above have to give me for me to realize these things? And this is why I help so much other men, so much other women. I'm my relationship coach. My relationship is not perfect like anything else. We have arguments, we fight, we have this thing, we have a small, but at the same time, that's life. Now, with your situation, let me see this. Oh, here we go. We're gonna go over.
I'm good.
Yeah, guys, if you're having problem with any situation that you want to talk to Carrie, how can they reach you?
On Instagram at Carrie Pullaro. And you can probably find me on YouTube at Carrie Pullaro as well.
Yeah, because she's all over the place. We got to end this right now. I'm sorry, guys. We got so deep into it, but the big promise that we have for you guys is keep watching, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, because a lot of the things that we talk about are the comments that we see on other sides. All right. Hate to cut this short, but we could sit there and talk. That's the problem. All right. Yeah. This is Gordon Wat from Boundaries and Brotherhood. Carrie
Pullaro from Carrie. Moody as fuck.